Welcome to a new series of videos I'm doing. It's going to be called How I Analyze Stocks to Add to My Watch List for Cover Calls and Cash Secured Puts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at stocks, and these stocks are ones that I consider selling options on, cover calls and cash secured puts. And people ask me, how do you pick good stocks for your options? And that's what this is going to be about. So this is going to just be about stocks. It's not going to be index funds like TQQQ or things like that. It will be ETFs that are double leverage single stock funds like AMZU, perhaps. I'll do those, but I won't analyze that ETF. I'll go to the underlining stock like Amazon and look at that to see if that's a good stock for cover calls and ETFs. So what I'm doing a quick watch list review of stocks and ETFs. And like I said, when I say ETFs, I'm talking about single stock ETFs. And I'm going to decide if they belong on my options watch list for the cover calls and cash secured puts. So just because they're on my watch list does not absolutely mean that I'm going to sell options on them. And what I'm doing today is not a trade alert for any single stock today. What I'm doing is just putting them on a watch list for later when I decide I might want to sell an option on them. And before we go too far, don't forget to subscribe. I like saying that. And then at the bottom down here, right here, this is not financial advice. It's just me doing what I do, and I'm sharing it for others so they can learn, and not just learn from my success, but learn from my mistakes. For example, in April, when the market took a dip, I continued making my weekly videos on my cover call ETFs, and my account went from 70,000 down to 49,000 in a few weeks, and I didn't go hide. I just shared what was happening, but then when it bounced back up, I shared all the way through the ups and the downs. And so this is basically what I'm kind of doing. Step one, I'm going to look at stocks, see what the revenue is, earnings, is an established company, and then based on all the information I gather, would I be okay owning the shares of that stock? And that's probably the most important thing, because if I'm selling cash secured puts, there's going to be times I get assigned shares, and if I don't want to own those shares, then I probably shouldn't be selling cash secured puts on them in the first place. And the second thing I'm going to do is see what the analysts are saying. I can pretend like I am a financial expert and look at everything, or I can kind of look at the consensus of what the analysts are saying. Are they recommending buying? Are they recommending holding? Are they recommending selling? I'll look at the price targets, see what's happening there, and all kinds of good stuff. And then the third thing, I'll open up the option chain and look and see if there's a lot of liquidity. If I find a stock that I like, then look at the option chain and there's no liquidity, there's hardly anybody trading those options, and there's no sense of putting it on my watch list. So today we are going to look at SOFI, and I'm going to look at SOFI because it's one of my favorite stocks to trade options on, and it's one that I'm asked about quite a bit. Okay, so I popped up the Yahoo Finance page for SOFI. Today it's trading at 25.94 approximately, and here's the chart on it. I'll glance at the chart when I'm considering adding a new stock, and I'll go back and I'll change this to like the 1-year chart to see where it's been, and I might even go to the 5-year chart to see where that's been. You go back to 2022, obviously, or back to the COVID days. A lot of these stocks are going to have this big dip in here. I like getting a better idea what it's doing the past year or so. And then when it actually makes my watch list, I like looking at the 6-month chart to see what it's currently kind of doing. So we're not here today to look at the chart so much. We're here to look at this analysis tab on Yahoo Finance. And before I get too far, my watch list is actually right here in Yahoo. This is what I use. So if you have an account with Yahoo, you log in, you can add tickers to your watch list. If you make a watch list, you come down here at the bottom, you click on add holding, you type in the ticker and it is added. And then you can actually sort these so you don't have to scroll down to find the tickers that you are looking for. So I got them sorted by ones that are kind of my favorites. SPY, QQQ are there for a couple of reasons. They are some of my favorites, but also it kind of gives me a general idea like what's going on in the market. And then you see SOFI right here. So let's go to this analyst tab here. I'm not going to go through any particular order, but these are some things I'm looking at. So the earning trends for SOFI. So earnings per share. You can see here like the estimate, and then you can see the actual earnings. And you can see that it beat the earnings by 1 cent Q4 of fiscal year 24. And then it beat earnings the first quarter of 25. Second quarter, it beat earnings. The third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, which is going to be coming out here in about 10 days, we'll have the earnings, and the estimate is up here at, looks like it's about 11 cents a share. It actually says it up here when I hovered over it, but it moves when I move my mouse. So that's where we're at for earnings per share. Looks like it's on an uptrend, so that's good. Revenue and earnings. Let's look at the annual tab here first. And you see the revenue is growing each year. So this is 2021, 22, 23, 24. It looks like a perfect step ladder here. But if you look at earnings has been in the negative for the past few years. However, in 2024, a year ago, it was in the positive. So that's a good thing if you're considering this. And then quarterly, so this is for the most recent 4 quarters, you can see the revenue has grown, and also they've had growing earnings each quarter. So that's another good thing. And you can scroll down, look at the earnings estimates and the revenue estimates and all that good stuff. You look at the earnings history. We'll look at that at times, but that's not what I'm looking at today. So the next one I want to do is go to the analyst insight. So this is what the analysts are thinking. So the experts in the field, they'll do recommend of a buy, hold, sell, underperform, different things. So this is what all the analysts are recommending. We got January here, January 2026, and you got December 25 and November. So it's nice to look at the previous recommendations to see if things are going in any certain direction in a hurry. So if you see a bunch of red here when it used to be all green over here, that may be a red flag. So if I look at the buys and the holds here, it looks like there's at least one strong buy, 5 buys, 11 holds, and then there's perhaps a couple underperform and a couple sells. Overall, it's somewhat neutral or a little bit positive for that. And then over here, if you look at the analyst price targets, the current price of SOFI is right about 26, and the price target that the consensus of the analyst has it at 27.11. So pretty close to trading where the analyst price targets has it picked. So when I look at this, I look at this to confirm my own feelings about what SOFI might end up doing. So obviously the experts don't think it's going to go up too much higher than $27 a share in the next 12 months. People ask, like, what is this price target? What's the date on this? Is this 1 year out or 2 years or 30 days? You don't get a good answer for that. I assume this is 6 months to 1 year out price target. Then you can come down here and look at the latest ratings to see what's going on. If you see a bunch of ratings that are suddenly going down instead of up, then that might be another red flag. And here you can see what the top analysts are predicting. If I slide this over just a little bit, you can see what their price targets are and the date they made those. So if I click on this, it should do a sort by date 2026-16. You see that's the latest price target. This analyst has it price target at 28, and you see 24, 28, 36. And you see who's recommending a buy, who's recommending neutral, some different things like that. Let's click back and see what else we're going to look at here. So we looked at the revenue. We looked to see what analysts are saying. And collapsing targets, what I mean by that is the target price going down drastically. Is their price target going down? And I didn't see that. Is there any major downgrades? I did not see that. Is it mostly buy and hold? I did see that. Am I seeing any red flags for SOFI? Not really. And then going back here, the revenue I thought was okay. The improved earnings was okay. Established company. So SOFI is becoming a very established company in my opinion. That's only my opinion. And that's all that matters to me. Might not matter to you, but that's how I do things. So let's go back, and I think we're done looking at this. So at this point, SOFI has made it through step 1, step 2 for me. Step 3 is looking at the option liquidity. So let's go ahead and look at the option chain and see what that is telling me. Okay, I popped open Fidelity here, and I went ahead and did a search for SOFI. It popped up here. And if I scroll down here to the option chain, what I'm looking for here is to see if there's a lot of volume, a lot of action going on, because I don't want to deal with an option and sell cover call or cash secured put, and then later there's nobody to buy that back if I want to get out of it. Okay, let's pretend we're going to do cash secured put. I'm going to look at the monthly option dates. So I'm going to hide the weekly or daily. I'm looking here at the open interest. The volume is daily action. Open interest is total, and this will continue to build. So if you open this before the market opens, this column should probably be all zeros, but this open interest will have a lot of action. So in reality, if I was going to do cash secured put and the current price is 25, this is not a recommendation, but let's just say we'll go down about $24 strike price. And I can see here right away at 24, 25, even all the way down here to 20. So basically, if I was going to do any option trading on SOFI, there is a lot of action. So that totally makes it doable for the amount of liquidity and the amount of volume and open interest, all that. It checks all those boxes. So getting back to this, is there high open interest? Yeah. Consistent volume? Yes. Bid and ask price and monthly expirations. Let's look at the bid and ask prices real quick. So I picked 24. I actually don't want to buy or sell that right today. So if I look at the sell and the buy, there's only a 3-cent difference between here, which is good. So you want this gap to be nice and close. That way, if you're selling an option, chances are there's going to be a buyer for that price. And then later, if you want to close that option early and you want to buy it back, chances are whatever price it's trading at, you're going to get close to that price. Here it shows the last price here. If I scroll up, it says last, and scroll back down here to 25 or 24. The last price was $1.05 per share for the option. This is not the price of the stock. And the bid 105 and the ask 108. So it checks that box. Anyhow, you probably already knew the answer. Is this a stock that will be on my watch list for trading options? And the answer is, for me, is yes. In fact, this is one of my favorite ones to trade, even though it has sort of a analyst outlook of being kind of neutral and a buy, but not necessarily a big strong buy. It does check all the boxes of things I'm looking for. And if I come back to the chart, actually, for the most part, you can see that it's been an upward trend, and lately it's been on a sideways trend. The 20-day moving average is kind of going down a little bit. The 50-day moving average is starting to go down a little bit too. So I would be cautious with this one, but one that I am going to continue trading for the time being. And remember, the analyst has the price target right around low 27s. Anytime I can sell cash secured put, probably for 26 or 25 strike price, I probably feel comfortable with that. So that's me, my opinion, not financial advice. Do with this information what you want. I'm just sharing. So anyhow, I'll be doing these videos on various stocks for the next several weeks or maybe a couple months. And I may come back and revisit these. So I'm doing SOFI today. I'll maybe circle back and look at SOFI again after earnings, perhaps in a couple weeks, and see if it's still going to be on my watch list. It probably will, but I'll keep revisiting these every month or every few months, or especially like after earnings. And as you see, I have my watch list over here. And if you're seeing this watch list, does not mean things on my watch list or things I'm trading. I added some things for this series of videos. If you enjoy this type of thing, make sure you subscribe and keep your eye out for this whole new series of videos I'm doing, and we'll see you in the next one.